2 Tennessee Tech students were out here volunteering, helping clean up, when they found something unexpected. A Bible opened up to a verse with a message of hope.
Looking for a sign of hope tonight. For one Nashville man, it's that picture that you just saw right there in the midst of a destroyed home.
The family Bible, and we'd like to find out whose family Bible it was.
An officer just walked by again with another armful of Bibles. And David, you're back in New York City now, but you've been on the ground in Tennessee for the last couple of days. What did you maybe see or hear that will haunt you in the days to come?
I will never forget hearing the story of the father and the young boy who were thrown from their home and found about 50 yards away in the tree line. I'll never forget the couple who survived, who said, "We were guided by the lightning." That was the only light we had at 2:30 in the morning. So as the lightning would flash in the sky, we would sort of find our way to the neighbor's house.
You've covered some of the biggest natural disasters, not just in the country, but around the world. Hurricane Maria, one of the most significant topics of your reporting. You've seen some really bad stuff, and you've seen the way that people react to these tragedies. Is there anything unique or special in the way that Tennesseans have reacted to this tornado?
There was a resilience that seemed to bond them together, which was inspiring to me. Every single person that I spoke to mentioned God. I will never forget Eric Groomer, who was the other Eric's neighbor, who said, "How are we here? How do you explain this? How do you explain that every single piece of my home is gone and I'm still here? And the only thing that is sitting on the slab of my home is the carpet that we sat on in the closet that is no longer there." Nearly every person mentioned God.
Tennessee tornadoes aren't uncommon, but residents say this time there was no warning.
We didn't hear any sirens. I woke up
after the fact,
and the ceiling started coming down on us.
This was the deadliest tornado outbreak in the U.S. since exactly 1 year ago today.
New images emerging of this ominous warning in the middle of the night. Blaring tornado sirens, drowning out live music in downtown Nashville.
In Nashville alone, hundreds were left homeless. Schools, courts, public transportation, an airport and the state capitol were closed. Officials scrambled to find alternate sites for Super Tuesday voting. Tennessee, the first to feel the brunt of America's 2020 tornado season.
It's unbelievable. I never dreamed it would ever happen to me. Never.
Tornado victims reacting to homes hammered by Mother Nature's power.
The scene is surreal. Stunned residents have come out to look at the damage in every direction.
Winds of up to 260 kilometers an hour ripped buildings open, scattering debris across Nashville and its neighboring counties.
Our hearts are full of sorrow for the lives that were lost. It's a vicious thing. Those tornadoes, I've seen many of them during a 3-year period, and I've gotten to see the results, and they are vicious.
After the tornado blazed a 2-mile trail of debris, shattering lives.
But dozens are still missing in the aftermath of the deadliest storm to hit the state in almost a decade.
You might recognize Taylor Hicks from American Idol, the country music singer, among the many victims here.
The vibration is what I'll never forget.
He shared his survival story, jamming himself inside this closet in his garage.
You won season 5 of American Idol. You said that 6 months was insane. Not as insane as the 30 seconds in there.
Doesn't even compare. I mean, doesn't even compare.
Just down the street, parishioners praying outside of a church with no facade.
I went outside and, after this minute and a half of fury, I walked outside and I looked up and it was the clearest, starriest southern sky that you could possibly imagine.
What did you think when you were looking at the stars?
I think everybody was thanking their lucky stars to be alive.
Tennessee's first case of coronavirus confirmed.
People are suffering, just beginning to recover. Tens of thousands of people dealing with the effects of the tornadoes, and now this news about the coronavirus. But I think the thing that we need to remember is that preparedness is how we deal with situations like this.
Possibly the gravest threat to the world economy since the 2008 global financial crisis. That's according to the OECD, as the coronavirus epidemic slams all sectors of the economy.
The spread of the coronavirus has pushed the pause button on one of the world's biggest economic powerhouses.
We're coming on the air at this hour with breaking news there. Wall Street ending one of the worst weeks of trading since the financial crisis in 2008.
We're starting to get to that point where those supply chains are going to have massive disruptions.
But a travel ban has left thousands of Chinese students unable to return to university. It could cost the sector millions if they cancel enrollments. Thailand has lowered its growth outlook for the year as its economy suffers from the absence of Chinese tour groups. Italy's already sluggish economy will take a further hit, with a number of towns and manufacturing hubs in lockdown. And trillions of dollars has been wiped from US equities, pushing stock markets around the world into the red.
What we're also seeing is a disruption to supply chains. As companies have slowed down manufacturing in China, that has impacted other Asian and Pacific countries who've relied on those inputs into their manufacturing processes. No longer are we standalone countries, we operate in global supply chains, and that's what the coronavirus has really exposed.
More than 100 countries now have travel restrictions on people arriving from South Korea. But unlike many of them, Japan is a vital trading partner. This quarantine measure will cause further economic pain. Testing on an industrial scale means thousands of people are being checked for the virus every day.
The economic costs of coronavirus are mounting everywhere, with the squeeze on international travel affecting airlines in particular. As coronavirus increases its reach, with South Africa registering its first case and the UK and Switzerland their first fatalities, each day brings heightened levels of response. But the World Health Organization says it's concerned some countries aren't taking the threat seriously enough.
This is not a time for excuses. This is a time for pulling out all the stops.
The novel coronavirus outbreak intensifies outside the epicenter in China, so too does its projected impact on the world economy. Global finance leaders met in Riyadh for the G20 meeting over the weekend, where representatives vowed to closely follow the evolution of the illness and to act as needed.
From manufacturing and supply chains to universities and even film productions. COVID-19 is affecting businesses and daily lives, especially in countries where the coronavirus has hit the hardest. That's South Korea, China and Italy, just to name a few. So how should the world respond?
Decades of globalization have created supply chains so deeply interconnected that when there are issues in China's economy, it's felt across the globe.
We're in a situation where China, the shutdown in various factories and other places of work has meant that China isn't producing various bits that may well be vital inputs into production in other economies. So that is causing ripple through effects around global supply chains.
We're also looking at Bethlehem, where coronavirus has spread to, and the Israeli military isn't allowing people in or out of there now. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas earlier declared a state of emergency after 7 cases were confirmed. Tourists and pilgrims are banned from the area for the next 2 weeks. The Church of the Nativity, which is revered among Christians as the birthplace of Jesus Christ, is among the sites that have been closed.
Elsewhere, the retreat of whole communities into isolation continues. In Bethlehem, Palestinian officials have closed the Church of the Nativity weeks before the Easter season that draws tens of thousands of visitors and worshippers to the traditional birthplace of Christ. Italian schools didn't open on Thursday and won't for some time to come. Similar scenes in India, Iran, France and Japan. In all, around 300 million students in more than 20 countries face weeks of disruption. Desperate measures in what feel to many like desperate times.
And now survivors are talking to us about the light that's shining through this dark time. Bliss segment is live in Cookeville with a woman's story of hope.
Things seem very bleak, but yesterday there was a message of hope. 2 Tennessee Tech students were out here volunteering, helping clean up, when they found something unexpected. A Bible opened up to a verse with a message of hope. In a dark time, Lauren Jackson and Georgia Gust found a message of hope.
We were crouching down there for probably 10 minutes, just searching for some hope or something that Cookeville needed to hear.
Buried underneath rubble here, the Tennessee Tech students found this Bible, practically untouched by the deadly tornadoes that erased the home it once belonged to.
And the main point was Cookeville will again have peace and security. And I just felt that's what everybody needed to hear, because as you can see, it looks like there's no hope here.
Jeremiah 46 verses 26 and 27 urges readers not to be afraid, because God has a plan and will bring peace and security.
This is all him. This is not us. He's just using us to share his word.
Yeah, Lauren, this has been the talk of the neighborhood. Among the devastation and destruction is this image of Jesus. And for the man who lives here, it's a sign of comfort. This is what's left of Troy Coleman's home in North Nashville. His living room is now out in the open. One powerful image sits front and center on top of the fireplace.
He still watches over us no matter what.
Coleman says he prepared for the tornado by hunkering down. He said it came through quickly.
It's there, we're still here. My mother and I, we made it out.
The family Bible, and we'd like to find out whose family Bible it was.
Cleanup efforts are underway in Tennessee. Among the wreckage, one officer found this Bible. Officer Denton tells CBS affiliate WVLT in a live interview the Bible was found intact without a single page missing. Now the department is trying to find out who the Bible belongs to.
And as crews continue to search tonight, an officer just walked by again with another armful of Bibles, and this one has a name in it, presented to Mary Evelyn Randolph in 1946. And they said, here, please take these mementos that we're finding, family Bibles. You guys have a better shot of getting them back with their rightful owners than we do. So we're going to take these back with us to the news station, and we'll put some pictures up on social media, Ted. Hopefully reunite some of these families with their treasured items.
Yeah, there's so much tragedy there. Something small like that would mean an awful lot.